Okay, guys. This I believe is the last video where I will explain how all the stuff work. Let's say when I say all the stuff work is how I take each step here, each node, and connect each one and create a workflow, and how I create the I name it workflow engine to execute all this code. And execute external code like get language project is external code. It's not a native node here like a webhook, API, condition, code, and loop. So how I can execute the native nodes in a workflow where has native nodes and external nodes. So let's jump to the code because all this stuff happen in the code, more specific in the backend. Um, Here, more specifically, the workflow engine. So the first step here is I receive the workflow to process. So I receive the data. If I make like this case here, when I send a run workflow, I have all the information I need. For example, if I put here workflow to process here, go here, let me clean here and execute again. I get the information about this workflow and send for this class named workflow engine. Here you can see the structure. More specifically, you can see the structure is a little bit different. I can remove this because I didn't notice, but it's unnecessary now. Um, Run. You can see the nodes, array of nodes, where has the webhook and my node here. And what I do, I get the nodes and call the method get nodes as a linked list. Why the linked list? Let me draw here. One moment. Okay, MSP server. Yeah, let's create a new page here. Uh, workflow engine. You agree with me? After this node, I go for this node. So it's like a link. If I duplicate here, uh, I believe I duplicated. Let's see here. I have another node and I can link. So first I execute this node, after that the second, the third. So for me it's like I have a one part and the one part has a reference from the next one. Okay. So if I execute here, I have the two. So for me it was really clear is a linked list. I have a node and I have a reference where I connect with the node where put me direct for the next one. So this node has a reference for the next one. For me, it's exactly a linked list. So this is why I use a linked list. For example, after I execute this node, let me move the zoom. Uh, let's move this. Imagine if I don't have the next one is new, I stop the execution. So I use the linked list logic to create my workflow engine. Is the main is the I don't know if I can say the brain of the feature, but it's really important. So here you can see I have the node. So here I start to build the linked list. I create my own linked list implementation here. Has a add method where I add a node and have a show if I need. And the linked list, each node has a value. In this case, is the value is a noded based. You need to understand the noded based. You need to watch the video where I explain how to create a custom component. Even a custom component or a native component is extend from the node base class. And the next linked list, let me, and I have a next where is a node or new, like I explained it. So I add here this item here and start to create a logic. Okay. If the item is condition is a little bit different because the condition. Let me put here only to explain. If you check here, the condition has the true path and the false path. So the true path is this guy here, and the false path is this guy here. So it's like a linked. The success path has your own linked list, and the fail path has your own linked list. And I add as a children from the main linked list. The same idea I use it to loop, but the loop, if you check loop here, you have a loop path and down path. So the nodes here is the path, uh, is a path where all the nodes you add in this side will repeat based how many data, repeat based the length, the quantity of items in the list. I put it here. Okay. Uh, this is I return the linked list and I start the linked list here. Where I start the linked list? Here I have a state nodes here save the linked list, and the head is the first node, let's say that way, of the linked list. In this case, in my case here is webhook. So I have a while instruction, and I check. Start is different from new. Yeah, so has information to process. If I call here, if start is new, I the code stop finish more exactly. So here I have an item. Like I said, I have a value. I use this value here. The value has a type and extra information. All the nodes has a type. Is a way to identify the node. And here I have instance and name. Here I identify if the node is a native node. The native node is all the native nodes. I put it here: webhook, API, manual, condition, code, and loop. All these guys are native nodes. So what I do, I check if the type here, if I have any value based on the type, I get the object and check. Okay, the type is the key. So if don't return for me a value means it's not a native node. So I need to call a guy to import for me a custom node. If it's a native node, I generate an instance. So I get the instance from the node, and and the node has a state. And like I said, the node has a method execute. The execute do some code logic and return for me something. Uh, Here is a, if I'm not wrong, is returned that way. Okay, yeah. The node return is like a JavaScript object or return a linked list. Why a linked list? Remember, I have a code, I have a node for condition and loop. So when I execute the code here, for example, I call this guy here execute method from the condition node. You can see here. Let me clean this part. I make an operation to check if the left value and the right value is the same, is true, the operation. If yes, I return the linked list I created uh, from the success path. If not, I return the fail path. And I in this linked list, if the output is a linked list, what I do, I set the start now is ahead from the linked list, where in the linked list is the output. So I start, for example, let's say here I have a node. Only to explain, I create a condition. For example, one is equal one. Yeah. So if equal, what I can do is execute this path here, the true path. So after the condition, execute the node, I will return the true path, where is a list of a linked list where contains the node, the the node, the, the node code, and another nodes if I connect here. And what I do. So now I start to work with the linked list returned in the output, and I start from the head. And the head of the true path is the node code. And after that, after I execute the code, I go to the next. So okay, imagine this example. So now I call the execute method, but I call the execute method from now I'm executing the code node. So the execute here is return an object, node return. So I go for this part here. In the end here you can notice start.next. So the next go to the next node. So I go for the API here. And after that, the loop, after the API execute, I will call this guy again. But now, after the API, I don't have any nodes. So next is new. So the workflow check here. If the start is new, is different new, but start is new, equal new. So stop the execution. And to save the output of the nodes, what I do, if you can notice here, I forgot to say about the name. Each item has a type and a name. So I can put here name. Yeah. So I use the name. The name is this guy here, the step name, to identify each node. So I can that way I get, for example, trigger underscore API underscore 5, and I set here, and I get the step the name. In this case is trigger API 5, and I populate this key with an object where it contains the output and the input. So that way I can do stuff like let's say here the code. So I can do stuff like that, expressions like that, state, but steps, trigger, output. Because if you notice, I save the in the state here, and I save this in the output and input in the step. Use the step name from the node executed. So that way, this is the logic. So is the logic to execute the native and the custom nodes. But now let's back to how I can get the custom node. So imagine here, let's put a console log here. Okay, I have an item. That's clean. What I will do here is remove this guy, remove this guy, remove this guy. Uh, I keep only what really matters here. Save. I don't know. Let me check. Save it. Let's run. So you have the print. Uh, yeah, let's remove this guy here to prevent make a complication to to make more tough to understand. So let's run again. The only console log I have is this guy here. So you can notice the type here. This type I can find inside the type by instance by type. So I use the class named custom node manager. Is a guy responsible to call the custom nodes. What I have here, I have the init. What is the init? I call the package util and I call the method load where I will import dynamically the custom nodes for me and I generate a list of custom nodes where this list is all the items in this list is a custom node where extend node base is a I explained this in the video where I explain how to create a custom node, okay, and return. So I receive this and saving custom nodes is a private attribute here and is an array of node base. So what I do, I call this method here. First step, I init. If I, for example, is the first time, I need to import dynamically the custom nodes. After I did that, I set here is load custom nodes true. Is loaded is the is better, but the idea here is identify if I did this before or not. And and after that, what I do is find a custom node where the type is equal the type parents here. And how I can identify this? You agree with me? It Each custom node has a config, a get config. The get config need to return a name and a type and a description and a list of properties. So I use the type to identify. So after identify here, I have a custom node. I already had a custom node instance, and I return here. If I didn't find, I don't know. You add a custom node, you execute a workflow, and you add a custom node, but this custom node you remove it or rename it. So I can find this custom node, use the old name. So what I do, I throw an exception and that way you can understand, okay, I need to create a new workflow, use the new name of the custom node, okay. So return the custom node. Remember, the custom node is a node base, so the node base has config method and execute. So my instance, I set the custom node return to instance, so I can do the same here. So that way I can plug new nodes without need to create a need to change my workflow engine, right? So I believe the main flow is the let's say the brain of the mini N8N is this class here, the workflow engine. So that's it. I hope everyone understood what I said. If not, you can comment down below. I will try to discuss this with you. If you have any situation similar you need to implement and you want help for it, let me know. Okay? Bye bye.